Alright, in this video, we're gonna discuss why you can't focus and you have a goal. The most important thing that you know you want to get it done, but you constantly find yourself unable to focus. If you implement everything I'm about to share with you here today, you're going to see a massive improvement in your ability to stay focused and to get into that focused state of mind. Hey, this is Vann, and I make videos around entrepreneurship and business. I own a seven-figure marketing agency, and the lessons that I've learned through my own mistakes, so you could make fewer mistakes in your entrepreneurial journey. So in this video, I'm going to solve the focus problem permanently for you. No tricks, no hacks. These are the most effective things you will be able to do to get your focus back and figure out why you're unable to work, why you're unable to focus, why you're unable to tap into the zone of focus, why you're unable to get into that flow state of mind where work feels like effortless. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the biggest enemy why you can't focus is your environment. Not many people talk about it. People talk about meditation, people talk about affirmations, planning your days tomorrow in advance, having these spreadsheets, having accountability partners, doing this and that. You can set all of that aside and focus on just one thing, which is your environment. If your environment is not nurturing you to focus, if your environment is full of distractions, maybe it could be visual distraction, it could be auditory distraction like noises of people, traffic, weird noises, wind noises. It could be anything. If your environment is not supporting you, don't have an ergonomic chair, if you don't have an ergonomic table, if your environment in which you want to work is disorganized, and there are books everywhere and pages everywhere, there's hardly any organization there, or there is no natural sunlight coming to you to promote the wakefulness hormone so you can get into the focus zone. It's very hard for you to focus in artificial lighting at 12 a.m. at midnight. You could get creative stuff done. That's good. But it's very, very achievable, and it's much easier to get into that flow state and be able to focus when it's morning and natural sunlight is hitting you and it's promoting wakefulness, which helps you get into that alert state of mind, which increases your ability to focus. So, how do we fix the environment thing? So, what you do is you get a piece of paper and you start making a list of things. Start making a list of objects you have in your environment. And you make a list, like just a linear list, write the names down. I have this table, I have this chair, I have this water bottle, I have this tree, plant, cat, dog, people working with me or teammates. Just make a list of everything. On the right hand side of it, just write down which one are the positives. Positives, by positive I mean which helps you get into focus state, which are not distracting you, actually are positive to your environment. List down all the positives and list down all the negatives. And one of the biggest negatives that you are going to notice is going to be your smartphone. Believe it or not, it is one of the biggest negative. It could ping anytime, it could have notification, and this is the worst thing to be present in your working environment where you want to focus. So keep this thing away unless you're focusing on something on the phone. In any case, no real work could ever be done on a phone. After you have listed down all the things and you have marked them, which one are the positive and which one are the negative, eliminate all the negatives. Remember, it is your responsibility to create a suitable environment which best nurtures you to perform at your highest level so you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. And if you're not taking responsibility for your own environment, who else will? So take it on a responsibility to create an environment. Environment does have a significant effect on your ability to focus. And one of the things that a lot of people are discounting on right now, what I'm seeing is the accessibility to natural light. I know you can burn the midnight oil and get stuff done, but The consistency that comes with working in the morning hours when there's natural light, it's just unbeatable. It's just more sustainable. It's just more happy and more pleasurable. All right. The second thing why you can't focus, baseline dopamine dip. Now, what do I mean by that? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter which is very important for the rewarding mechanism and pleasure mechanism of our brains. But it's not actually pleasure mechanism, it is the anticipation of pleasure. It gets really spiked up when there is an anticipation of a variable reward or variable pleasure response. So it's more of a released when there's a expectancy. You're anticipating something pleasurable to happen. So it is released most at that time. It is the same hormone that is released when you're working towards a worthy goal. It is the same hormone which is released when you're working toward something you find very, very meaningful. It is often referred to as the wanting hormone. But what's happening right now in this world right now is the dopamine receptors in your brain are getting overblown with the cheap access to sugary, fatty, salty food, uh, cheap access to the social media likes and ability to access and search information uh, in the tap of your fingertips, which actually decreases the sensitivity of dopamine receptors as you overblow them with different types of all the ways, artificial ways you could just blow it up. And I like to explain this topic with my own life example. So a couple of months back, I was in Bali, and there was using my phone all the time, doing all sorts of crazy things. And what really happened is I could feel like I was really, really excited and really, really happy. But when I came back, I was finding it very difficult to get back into work, to really focus and get work done. And I was really finding it like, how come work had become such a drag for me? And I felt a little bit low and I couldn't figure out what's going on. So what I did was I went complete monk mode for 14 days. So after learning all the protocol of the dopamine detox, I made up my plan. So my plan was for 14 days I'll do this detox thing, which will start with something called dry fasting. Dry fasting, what I mean by dry fasting, in which you don't drink or eat any food. And at the same time, I did the device fasting, which I will not touch any device at all. And it lasted for I think 2 days. I did not touch any device. I also tried to speak as less as possible. There was some problem that needed to be solved, so I spoke that. But I was speaking very limited, and was trying to just meditation in that time period. After 2 days, I transitioned into wet fasting, where I was able to drink water. I was taking potassium, magnesium, sodium, so all the electrolytes, and with that, significantly limited my ability to access internet. So I didn't had any internet access at all. I was using devices. I was working, back to working. I was feeling incredible. I would not say incredible, but I was feeling a little bit weak. But like you'll release some endorphins, so you feel a little bit good too, since you accomplished something. After a couple of days, I slowly transitioned into ketogenic diet, where I was just eating fatty food, 70% of the calories coming from the fats, healthy fat sources, and very, very limited social media access, using my favorite app of all time, Freedom. And after 14 days, I felt incredible, and I was able to get back into my focus zone. I was able to really enjoy the work. I was able to really settle back into my routines, which were previously already there, but I was finding a little bit of resistance to doing them when I came back from the Bali. So this is something that you could try, which is something. It's they say it's dopamine detox. You can look that up. But what it's actually is, it's resetting the dopamine receptors, not the detoxing dopamine. You cannot detox dopamine, or you will not have any motivation to even do dopamine detox. Not many people realize that like dopamine is the hormone which drives the motivation to even try dopamine detox. And if you're getting excited about doing dopamine detox, the dopamine in your system has increased a little bit. So that's very exciting stuff. I encourage you to give it a try and do it with well research and conduct your own research to perform it really, really well. And there have been several studies which proves that doing these fasting and dopamine detox significantly increases the BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which encourages the creation of new neurons in the brain, which enhances your cognitive abilities, which enhances your ability to solve problems, and which helps you get better control of your attention, have better mood, have positive mood, and increased alertness. So these are some of the things that will really, really help you in the long term as well as in the short term. In the long term, when you're doing fasting, you're also reducing your chances of cancer by significantly by body's own process of self-killing autophagy, which is incredible on its own. So there are a lot of benefits to give it a try to dopamine detox or resetting of dopamine receptors. Now we are on to the last reason why you can't focus and how to overcome that. So the last reason you can't focus is the culture of people around you. Now this one is never gets talked enough, but I have observed myself that human beings are very, very social creatures. Even the people who think they are introverts have some emotional bonds with imaginary people or the books that they're reading or the characters of the movies they're watching. Human beings are at its core social creatures, and the brains you have was developed due to the complex to solve the complex problems of the social endeavors. So, if you are the high performer, if you have incredible uh, power to, you could meditate 8 hours a day, you could focus and get work done. If I place you in a culture where people are complaining, have limiting beliefs, absolutely think meditation is weird, have boxed thinking. You can also often find them procrastinating, escaping life with substances, complaining about work, working less than it is required, or not giving their 100% in to their goals, to their mission in their life. Then it's very, very hard for you to do that. It is basically impossible for you to get anything done if the culture of people around you is not the one of supporting you, is not the one of high performance, is not the one of focusing on important things. You could try all the apps. You could try hire a accountability coach. I have done that. If you don't fix the culture of people you hang out with or you work with, you will not be able to focus. It's very, very hard. So how do we fix that? Well, the easiest hack is change the location. That's one. You can move to a different country, you can move to a different city, you could join a co-working space. And one of the things that I found very useful, one of the things that our remote team members have found really useful is something called Focus Mate. So Focus Mate, what you do is you get on a call with someone for 5 minutes, you tell them what you're about to do, and for 1 hour you keep the video on, mute yourself, and you work on that thing. And at the end you discuss what you got done and if there were any problems or anything, and how could you do better. And the last thing that you could do is you could be a little assertive and try to create a healthy culture in your own environment. Now, this may sound difficult to some of you, but I think if you try to do that, you can really, really get it done. You may have to cut some bad apples, but it is 100% doable. The culture must be of goal orientation, positivity, and high performance. If you really want to stick to your routines, if you really want to be that person who gets into that flow state of mind and able to focus for longer period of times, you really need a culture of people who do that as normal. And it's really possible to find those people and build out that culture. Doesn't matter wherever you are. So, to wrap this up, these are the three main reasons you can't focus. And if you fix those three, there is no reason why you cannot focus. You'll be able to focus 10 hours, 15 hours a day and like laser focused, where you focus on something and you finish it, and then you move to the linearly to the next thing and the next thing. And that kind of laser focused is going to help you get to the next level or get things done. And these are the three things I have found to be the most effective to help you get into that focused state of mind and help you get into that flow state of mind easily, conveniently, sustainably, and regularly. Alright, so I hope you found this video valuable, and if you liked it, share it with whoever you think would find insane amount of value from it. And this is it for the video, and I'll see you in the next one.